So we are here. We are here in St. James in the cool hills of Anchovy with a brethren, a friend of mine, mentor. We are going to get a little bit in his business, or is it our business? But he is on the music scene, and we are going to find out a little bit about him. Who is Mentor and what is he all about? So, Mentor, welcome.
Alright, yeah. Thanks and praises, Rastafari. Thanks and praises.
Blessings. Yeah, Yeah. First of all, I want to say, give thanks for the opportunity for being here. I know it take time and dedication and effort to really be here. So, I respect the effort that the item put out to make it possible. So, enough respect to DJ Skipper, respect to Sky, been a while, but we give thanks. We give thanks to everyone who really forward out and show them interest. So yeah, so mentor. So mentor, who is mentor? Mentor is a humble youth who love the Almighty, always about sharing love, sharing words of encouragement. Always love to see, my people living in love, living and sharing. And it make it even so easier for we cooperate when we united. So, mentor is all about positiveness, all about uplifting others, when mentor come around. I want to see light in people's face. So yeah, it's all about love, and yeah.
Wonderful. So, Mentor, I mean, you and I, Sky, Mentor, we met in St. James, but tell our viewers, tell us a little bit about you. Give us a little bit about the background. You were born, I don't think your given name was Mentor. So, give us a little bit on your background.
Yeah, so originally from Trelawney, you know, um, I grew up with, grandparents, cousins. I don't know how Jamaicans, family lifestyle goes some of the time. So, went through schooling, my upbringing was, I had a very strict father, and a very humble mother. Yeah, so it was, I didn't grow up with both of them, fully, but, each one, contributed their parenting to me, and, their parenting is a result of who I am today, or the principles that I live by today. I was working at a call center at one point, and I started finding out that it's not the place for me. It's not a place that really suits my spirit, my soul, and what I am really about. So music is something that I really loved from a younger age, but that's the time when I started to cultivate it, started to taking it more seriously, and really matching it with who I am, and start learning about my culture, not just in Jamaica, but, African culture as well. So, because I was always someone who loved to encourage people to do the right things, hence the name Mentor. The name Mentor really match with who mentor really is. So I think that was a perfect balance, in terms of, yeah, how the name really come about. So I don't know if that is enough about mentors, but
Okay, so mentor, tell our viewers, what was your birth name? What did your mother call you?
Merrick. Yes, Merrick was my birth name. It was given to me by my father actually, and yeah, it's a really nice name, you know.
All right, great. So mentor tells us about growing up in a semi, extended family, with mother and father. So that sound foundation for where he is now. He is also a father. Yes. There you go. He talks to us about his music, and we find out that he didn't stop learning when he came out of institution. When he came out of school, he was still learning because he says his music is about learning about Africa and all of this. So we're gonna go into that. Tell us a little bit about your music. Tell us what your music is aiming to say to your audience. We don't call them fans, your audience. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right, so my music is about it. It's all about love. It aims to shed a light, a light that will bring peace to people, and also it's about accepting who we are as a people. So knowing who we are as African people, and knowing where we're coming from, and to know and to make it easy for us to know where we're going. That's the message in the music. It is as simple as listening to your conscience. So there is always a voice, two voices inside of us, One I tell us to do something good and the other I tell us to do something bad. So it's all about you deciding which one you want to follow. So my music is telling you to follow the good voice, that still voice that is telling you to do the right thing at all times. So that's what it aims to say to you, to be true to yourself, realizing who you are as a people, and it also speaks on uniting, because no man is an island, and no great, I would say, establishment or great manifestation has ever done by one single person. It's always done by a team. So it speaks on unity, unity is strength. Those are the type of messages that are in the music.
Okay, you talk a lot about love and a lot about unity, a lot about that inner voice, and all that. So I want to ask you this: who are some of your influences, from a musical perspective? You grew up, did you realize that, what, I can sing, so let me just do this? Or is it something that came to you later on when you were a teenager, or, in your adult age? When did you realize that you could sing? When did you realize that, you were putting stuff on paper and, hey, this made sense and you could put it to a rhythm and all of that? Tell us a little bit about that, and who were some of your influences, growing up with mommy and daddy, who you used to listen to. Did daddy used to play music or anything like that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, my daddy used to play a lot of music, different variety of different musics, and I always have a ear for tone. So I could even hear sounds that a lot of people probably don't really pay attention to. So I loved music. I used to love to dance to see me. Yeah. So, but I never started to take it serious until as I told you, and this was in between 2011 to 2012. that I started to taking it really seriously. And I always wanted to know, why I feel this way, in the world when others feel a different way. So music is the thing that I use now to put out what is going on inside of me. Yeah, so I should say it now. Windy. Yeah. Natural, Natural mystic. There's a natural mystic flowing in the air, and if you listen carefully, you will hear. Yeah, so basically, in those times, as youth, we listen to all kind of music. We listen to reggae, dancehall, you know, different genres of music, But my ears would always try to listen to what is speaking about love, what is speaking about, empowerment and upliftment, about unity. I always look out for them kind of words there, them kind of lyrics there. So, I started drawn to, reggae music because it normally speak about them thing there. I never really call my music reggae music. I used to say soul music because it comes from my soul. So, some of the people them where I listen to, them time, we listen to who was one of the hot artists them in them time, the Beanie Man, as youth, But when we want a meditation and we listen to Bob Marley, we listen to Dennis Brown, we listen to Peter Tosh, and today in the influences I would say would come from the message that is in the music. So regardless of who sing the music, but once the message is about empowering and my people to become better, then that where my influence really come from. I started to listen to people like Desiree, um, you know, who else? Vaughn, Midnight, recently passed away, but enough respect. Um, those kind of people, Caesar Kalonji. Yeah. So yeah, those are some musical influence, and right now one of the greatest inspiration to me is the teachings of His Imperial Majesty. Like everything that come from His Majesty is about peace, it's about love, it's about unity, you know. So that I would say is my greatest influence right now, because the the information and the work that he came and did was, to me, if I haven't found a flaw. You know what I mean? So that is my greatest influence, Rastafari.
Wonderful. I hear you talk a lot about it's not really about a person, but it is the message behind the music, and that is so important. It doesn't only come from music itself, but you spoke about the teachings of His Imperial Majesty. So I take it that you are also a reader, and there are many documentaries that are out there that chronicle the history of what he has been through and what he taught, teachings that we cannot allow to die, that this generation cannot allow to miss out on, that you memorialize through your music. So it takes me to my other question. How does your music help to amplify or to comment, or does your music comment on social and political issues? Does it?
Yeah, I have a song out called Wake Up. It speaks a lot about, what's happening right now. DJ Skipper play it a whole heap of time. Yeah, so it speaks on one of the broadest conversation right now in this time, in this COVID pandemic, is about the vaccination. And the song speaks about vaccination as well. It speaks about the type of food that we eat that's you know it creates psychological effects. There is a lot it talks about, even the psychology that we observe from world governments. Today's issue, what we are faced right now, this COVID thing, a lot of people have second thoughts on, going with the protocols of the pandemic. The song speaks on that as well, and a lot of people gravitate to it. A lot of people give me feedback, that it is, very eye-opening. So, you know, yeah. So you can you can check out my YouTube channel, which is Mentor Music, Muzik. That's Mentormuzik. And you can look up the song "Wake Up," to get more, information out of it, or just listen what it has to say, and then you can give your, just look into it. It's like a question sign. So you just, yeah.
Many times I believe that when we have questions to certain things that are happening, that are impacting us as individuals, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what is my role in this? As musicians, even though you're putting out music, you're putting yourself out there. You said that you talk about soul music. You're literally putting your soul out there, hoping that it will have influence, that it will have impact. I'm going to put you on a spot. I know that you told our viewers, where they could find your music, but I want you to give us a little piece of it. I want you to give us a little piece of it.
All right, so yeah, so let's just do a little piece of the song then. So wake up. Wake up out your sleep. Look what time it is. Look around and see the world is not the world as it seems. Toxic food you eat, poison air we breathe. World government cares not for the greater good of humanity. Balance. Genetically modified food increases. Chemtrail poison gas releases. Does vaccine protect, or is it a trigger to deadly diseases? Then our children sit in front of a brain controlling media, watching the enemy, watching him, teaching him lies and spread propaganda. Yeah, so we say only the fittest of the fittest survive. The strongest of the strongest ones will stay alive. Yeah, so that's a piece of wake up,
I love it. I love it. It is current. It is speaking about things that we can all identify, even if it's not affecting us on a personal level. We see it every day on our TV. We see it on the internet. It's sent over on our cell phones, and people are glued to their cell phones. So open your eyes. Check out this music on YouTube. Yes, it is great. Wake up, literally wake up and open your eyes. I want to ask you a little bit about your career. I want to ask you, how do you go about developing your music professionally? How do you go about? What do you do?
Yeah, good question, because this is one of the things that we do, what we're doing right now. To develop, yeah, yeah, it's a part of the development, So again, I will say give thanks to Sky again, give thanks to Hugo, DJ Skipper, for creating such an ambience and such a space where we can use this as a developing, what you would say, strategy. So it is still in a developing stage. this is one of the things, we utilize social media platforms, we utilize digital platforms to distribute our music as well, and one of the most important thing is, having a team, and a team that has the similar vision as you, and the same mission of achieving that. So, teamwork, and being a part of a team that is supportive, so, again, give thanks to DJ Skipper again, give thanks to Shanik, give thanks to Sevan, and Live Lime Records, Victory One, these people, Beecher Photography, yeah, we give thanks to Ivan, the great keyboardist, same way. So everyone who, supported Ian is a part of, supporting, what Mentor do. It's a lot of gratitude, deep gratitude.
All right, so it's a lot of teamwork, and that is excellent. Big up DJ Skipper. We love him for the work that he is doing, for these up and coming artists that is coming through with materials and content that is relevant at this point in time. We want to ask you also, we know that you have a team. Does your team assist you in opportunities? Because you have to get the music out there. This like Wake Up, that song, it has to go out there. There are persons that are living, but they're not seeing what is happening, and they need somebody to really put the microscope on what is happening and say, oh, so this is what is happening. Okay, I now understand. You're giving them somewhat of clarity. So how do you go about finding opportunities to get your voice out there?
Yeah, by being true to who I am, and by being that, it naturally attract the people that would want to genuinely, support what I do, and as I say, we utilize, social media platforms, utilize digital platforms to share the information, and it reach people, and people give their comment, give their feedback, and people make connections, like DJ Skipper, where you arrive for the first time and say, I am man, yeah, where I work with the youth. So, I see a DJ Skipper place today. So just by being true to who you are first, so being true to who I and I is, it really create that opportunity, to get the information out there, get the music out there. So yeah, and we also try to make connections with the radio DJs, whoever is involved. Yeah, whoever is involved in the music industry that, as I said, is about the same mission, then yeah, we try to make those type of connection, and the connections them happen, mystical most of the time. Sometimes it's not things that we plan for, but as things we already planned for we, so yeah.
All right, thanks for sharing that. I want to ask you something that many of our viewers may be thinking, and maybe wanting to ask, but I'm going to go ahead and say, is it for the fame?
No, it's for the love. Yeah, it's for the love first of all, and that's the beauty about it, that when you really do it from your heart and do it genuinely, it attract these kind of things. So as there's actually a proverb too that speaks of how a man's gift really bring him forward to people in high places, and bring him abundance. So, by knowing what your gift is, knowing what your purpose is, and following that path, yeah, it bring all of this, but it's all for the love. It's for the love, and it's about seeing people living in love.
No, you hear it. It's not for the fame. It's for the love. It's for the love, and that is very important. That means that it doesn't mean if even if you're not getting shows, and we do believe that you will be getting shows because your material is valuable. It has influence and it has impact. Thus, we believe that it will go far. I want to ask you, how do you navigate? No, how do you navigate in this musical world? I know you talked to us about using social platform, and we know that we are in this whole pandemic thing, but how did you navigate before? Because you're not your music is not coming out of the pandemic. You were a musician before, you were a singer before, but how do you navigate in this music world? How do you go about doing your thing? Do you put on your own shows? Are you booked for other shows? Can they come out and see you? How does this work?
Yeah, we create our own show. We get booked for shows like DJ Skipper bring me on for him Facebook Live, dubbing at the Valley, you know. Yeah, and those are ways, and really, connecting with the people from your heart, genuinely. So it natural. It becomes, it's so natural. It's like it's effortless to really navigate through it, because you're so, what you say, in tuned. You're so in tuned to your passion. You're so in tuned to your purpose, that your purpose really just take you through the places that you need to go through, and that is the guide, that is the compass, listening to that genuine voice inside I and I, that voice, that inner voice, yeah. So listening to that inner voice make it easy to navigate through it. So, respect to everyone where really, support I and I. As we keep on, I said DJ Skipper, because it's been so much of a support. Respect to Victor One, respect to all of the DJs who play our music, respect to all of the fans them, even my smoothie customers, yeah. So yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned your smoothie customers, because I'm going to ask you now, if you were not doing music, what you see yourself doing? What would you have been doing, or what are you doing along with your music? Because I'm sure you're multi-talented. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you see, when growing up, at one point, I say I wanted to be this, or I wanted to be that, and the older I get, the sometimes the decisions change, so it's what I would say, um
Just the music. Just the music.
yeah, no, I would be doing something that is in alignment with divine purpose, in alignment with divinity. So I do smoothies for a living right now, and it's something that I love, because it's about nutrition, it's about promoting a holistic lifestyle. It's all about, the same message where the music, as I say, is the smoothie business would be the levity of the message. So as long as it's in alignment with the divine purpose, then you know, yeah, I would be doing smoothies. Probably I would be doing video editing. Probably I'd be doing, regardless of what situation life brings, I would always be in alignment with something that contributes to divine purpose.
Divine purpose. And you said something. You said, you're singing it in the music, but your smoothie business is you're living it. And that is so important, because I always hear, don't follow what I say, but follow what I do. So they're looking, you're talking about GMO foods and all of these things. But are you consuming these GMO foods? No. You're about holistic living and natural stuff and nutrition, things that will build up your temple that houses your soul. Yes? Yes, so that is great. I want to ask you this question. Are you following any music trends right now? Are there any trends that you're following right now? Tell us a little bit about that, if there is.
All right. Trends. Well, to tell you the truth, I just go with where I spirit say. So I just work with the natural, mystical vibration that flow through I and I. So if there is a trend that connects with that, then kudos. But it's really following my inner being, following my inner voice, my inner self, and the Almighty words is truly a guide, on this journey. So I give thanks and praise every time to the Almighty, for that thing that we can hold on to. Yeah. And say, yeah, at least there is something that really, connects with who you are. So, really, I feel I wonder if, oh, I'm crazy or, yeah. So, yeah, I just follow my inner being, And again, thanks and praise unto the Most High. And again, glory to His Imperial Majesty, glory and honor unto His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile King Selassie the First, because he has been a truly great, inspiration to who I am and becoming right now. Selassie, Rastafari.
Who you are and who you are becoming. I want to ask you something, because you touched on it a little bit, but I want you to go into it a little bit more, because we want your audience to know you, because believe it or not, you will have persons out there that are not only listening to your music but plan on changing their life based on it, changing their lifestyle based on it, changing in what they eat, what they watch on television, what they listen to on social media, and all of these things based on your music that is going out. So I want to ask you, where does your inspiration come from? I know that you speak about His Imperial, I know that, but what do you do? Do you go to the beach? Do you go to the river? Do you sit on a mat under a tree? What more? How does these words come to you? Because I mean, your lyrics have content. I hope the audience would agree with me. So I want to know, how does it flow to you? Does it come to you in a dream and you wake up and you write it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, so it I would have said mystical. I love use that word there, because I don't really plan on how it really forward, but I love being in spaces like the river, of course. I love being in spaces like the mountains, because it brings sound, and it brings a message different from when you're in the city. See, the city is very confusing at times, but within nature, I hear, a message that is helping to, or something. There's a vibration, that's happening, that's going, that's flowing through, that is saying love, that is saying peace, you know, and that is saying all of the things we have to do it. We living together as a people in love, in perfect harmony. So yeah, those are the kind of things where relax I, you know. Yeah, reading speeches from my ancestors, that really, keep I intact with, you know, never forget, don't lose the focus of the mission. So yeah, and that's what the mission is all about. It's all about love. So if I want to do something wrong and then get a judgment, is for the love, is for you get better, and if you get no worse. Because if you wanna do a good thing, a judgment will come. You understand? So yeah, blessings.
Discipline, there can't be any growth without discipline, so that is definitely true. I was listening to a Garveyite in a documentary a couple of months back, and one of the things that she said was, while she was with the Garveyites and Marcus Garvey was around, because it's a long time ago, he said that one of the things that she came away with was self-worth. She said that being a Garveyite allowed her in that time when they were fresh out of slavery and all of that to make her feel like she had worth, that she was more than what she did, that she was here for something greater. I hear a lot of that coming out of you when you speak. So I want you to just tell your audience, if there was one thing that you would like to leave with them, what would that be in this generation? Solomon was great, his father David great as well, but you're here to serve your generation. So what is one thing that you would like to leave with your generation? I'm not going to say your audience, because your music transcends your audience. And I'm proud that, and I'm glad that you're a part of my generation, so I can meet you, and be here in this space and in this time, So what is one thing that you would like to leave with your generation? You want to be remembered for? Tell us.
Yeah, to be remembered for. Well, really, for once to see the light of the Almighty shining through I and I, that's what I would want them to remember I for, because all glory and honor belongs to the Almighty. I'm just a vessel that the Almighty used to channel His message, to wake up the ones that, it's really make sure say the people them not completely lost, like what Von Benjamin say at one point. So that's what I would want to be remembered for. A youth where treading the earth and shine the light of the Almighty. Yeah.
Well, you heard it first here at Dub in the Valley, with DJ Skipper and Mentor. I am Sky. I want to thank you for taking the time out to be with us, to listen to this, to hear what Mentor, an up and coming artist in this Jamaica. We hear a lot of things about Jamaica, but we have so much good things other than our athletes that are coming out of this country. And we just want you to listen to the music. Listen to the music and share. I'm sure I'm gonna allow him to tell you again where you can find him and how you can reach out to him, and all of that. So I'm gonna allow you to do that, Mentor, as we exit out of this segment. Yes.
Yeah, so again, give thanks, and you can always find my music on social media at Mentor Music. So if you go to Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube and type in Mentor Music, Music spelled Muzik, then you have access to mentor music, and I want to say, give thanks again, all praises due to the Almighty, for strength and courage and will, and respect to all supporters, respect to all viewers, respect to all artists, and everyone who do some type of profession, we still find the time for listen to mentor music, I say give thanks every time, yeah, whole heap of love to all humanity. Selassie, Rastafari, Empress Menen, the perfect balance.
Well, this is Sky, and I want to thank you. Here we are in cool St. James in the hills of Anchovy, and I just want to thank again Dobina the Valley and DJ Skipper for having us. As we exit, I just want to say to our audience, love and light.
Oh, Jaja, Rastafari children, wake up out your